Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for my notes. It'd be bald. It'd be completely bald. Like a sheep on a wool.
Talk about that later. All right. Can everybody hear me okay? I woke some people up in the back, didn't I? Huh? I'd like to welcome everybody. I think it's about time to go, and I won't hold you guys any longer than I have to. Welcome everybody to our Monday, August the 8th, regular scheduled council meeting. With that being said, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Ms. Pillion.
Here.
Ms. Quetch. Here. And Mayor Webb.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Mike Owens to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. And that brings us to the prayer, and I'd like to welcome Miss Brooke Bedner. Come on down.
Let's pray. Father, I thank you for each man and woman that you have appointed to serve and work for the town of Abbington. I ask that you would give the town council and town manager godly wisdom and discernment as they make decisions today. And I ask that you would show them how to lead us well and to your glory. Help each of us to love and serve our neighbors in Abbington well, thinking more highly of others than ourselves. This is not always easy, my Lord, so give us continued grace and mercy to work alongside each other in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control. Lord, help us know what is pleasing to you instead of focusing on our own desires. Help us live faithfully in each of our circles of influence, knowing that you have created us all with a variety of differing skills, passions, preferences, and strengths. I ask that you would unify us as a people and as a town to come together and use the gifts and positions that you've given to build up Abington and each other. Help us not to tear each other down, but to encourage each other in both our strengths and weaknesses. Father, we know that your ways are higher than our own, so give us open eyes and willing hearts to obey you and not the ways of this world. I ask that you, Lord, would guide all discussions tonight, and that we would seek to use our words and actions to point people to Jesus Christ. Again, I thank you for the people you've called to serve the town of Abington, and I pray that they would each draw closer to you and know that you, Lord, give strength to your people and that you will bless your people with peace. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Brooke. It's beautiful. All right, council. At this time, if we don't have any more changes to the agenda, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Vice Mayor Quest. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens.
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Ms. Pillion.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
And Mayor Webb.
Aye. That brings us to public comments, and we do have one young lady signed up for the evening. Miss Katie Brown with Barter Theater. Come on down.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Katie Brown, and I live at 254 Valley Street, and I'm producing artistic director at Barter Theater, and I just wanted to give you all a really quick update on things that are going on at Barter. This summer, 9 to 5, among other things, has had a lot of people coming back to the theater. We've been really excited to have motor coaches back in force, which has been incredible. And so far this year, we've served 15,000 people on demand and another 29,500 here at the theater. This summer and over the course of the year, we've had people from 45 states, including Hawaii, Alaska, and also Washington, D.C. And anybody who's been to the theater knows we give a prize to the furthest distance from the furthest away at every single show, and we've had a lot of people coming back again, which we hadn't had for a couple of years. So, you know, people from Venezuela, Ireland, Great Britain, Wales, Germany, Belgium, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. We've just been really excited to be bringing people back from far, far away. So, huzzah for that. We were excited to read Dr. Vincent Magnini's 5-year plan on tourism, and we're excited to be on board with any pieces of that. I invite anybody who's listening to read that as well. There's a lot of great things there, and we're looking forward to being a part of helping Barter to help the town to be that arts hub of the region, to continue to be and to do more of that into the future. So we're looking forward to all ways to help attract more and more visitors. In the meantime, our fall sales are off to a really good start, particularly our tent pole, which is Murder on the Orient Express. And so we think we'll have some really good numbers for the fall. We're looking forward to meeting with some of you all coming up at the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, to go through zip code analysis and all of those things. In the meantime, thank you for all you do, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the theater. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes public comments. That brings us to the approval of minutes. Council, we only had the one July meeting. If there's no changes, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the July 11th, 2022 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Owens. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Pillion. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owen?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Witt.
Aye. And that brings us to proclamations. We're very honored tonight to have a couple of proclamations. Very, very impressive feats. I don't always get to say much to the parents, so I'm going to start off with you guys and gals and say that since I'm seeing you all here so frequently, I feel like we're all becoming very close. But I just want to thank the parents for the sacrifice they have made throughout the past 15 years, 10, 15 years on most of these gentlemen. That goes for baseball and tennis. You know, again, I don't always get to say thank you for what you've done, but each of you should be incredibly proud of your children for what they've accomplished. It truly is a dynasty at this point in time. The council, I know I can say this on behalf of the council, and I'll try not to get too choked up over it, but really, this is one of the most incredible things that we get to do as seating council members, is to recognize the youth for their accomplishments, because at some point in time, you guys are going to be sitting up here where we are. And clearly, you're assimilating many talents, lots of determination and grit. That would not be possible without your parents. And then I'll move to the coaches. The coaches. How many days and hours you're sacrificing for these young men. Thank you for what you've done. Coach of the Year, Mr. Francisco, Coach Francisco, wow, impressive. I read your article in the paper. For those of you who didn't get a chance to read it, the one thing that stuck out to me, probably more so than anything else, was when you commented on the GPA of these gentlemen. Was it 3.8? Is that what I read? Yeah, I've got a pretty good memory. But great job, guys. I mean, again, parents, coaches, wow. It's just impressive. It really is what you've done here. So thank you for the tireless days and nights of tournaments, money that you've invested. Clearly it's paying off, and we're just very, very proud. So I wanted to preface all that before we get to read these proclamations. It's a fun time to be a council member. It really is. It's a fun time to be a part of Abington. So thank you for what you've done. First up, we have the proclamation honoring the Abington High School Class 3A VHSL as runner-up in the state baseball championship. And Mr. Anderson is going to read that for us.
The town of Abington wishes to honor and recognize Abington High School baseball team composing of 13 members and the team's coaches. The commit requires for student athletes to be part of a sport team, including meetings, required grades, attendance, volunteer requirements, in addition to attending daily practices and scheduled competition and events. On Saturday, June the 11th, 2022, the Abington High School baseball team completed in the VHSL Class 3A State Championship in Fredericksburg, Virginia. The coaching staff and players of Abington High School baseball team made a significant impact on their school and community by taking the baseball team to the championship game. It is with my pride that the town council recognizes the comments and dedication of the students who serve as model citizens across the Commonwealth. By the authority invested in me, the council, and the mayor, and on behalf of the town council and citizen, I hereby commend the 2022 Abernath High School baseball team for finishing the season with a record of 25-3 and the achievements of being Class A runner-ups. The council wishes them success, their future endeavors. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Let's give these guys a hand. And gentlemen, like I was alluding to earlier, we couldn't be more proud of you. I do need to at least sort of recognize Mr. Gibson. I'm pretty sure he was recognized as the state player of the year. So, wow, that's all I can say. Great work, guys. And how many seniors did we have in this past season? Just a handful? 2? That's what I thought. So what an opportunity for you young men coming up this next year. It's just, I can't wait to see what you do. It's a very special team, very special time. So we'd like to have you come up for your placard. And would you like to read those names for me too, Dwayne? This is where I feel really small because all these guys are bigger than me. I was a runner.
Braden Mock, if you'll come up. Elijah Parks.
All down. Congratulations.
David Lambert. Luke Bedwell. Jack Ferguson.
All down, Jack. We're pretty much best friends now. This is like congratulations, my friend.
Lucas Brooks. Jet Humphreys.
I saw that name at lunch.
All right, that's it, dude. That's a household name right there. Beckett Dotson, my main man. Ethan Grubb. Ethan Gibson. Landon Greer. Nicholas Marshall. Daniel Fihauer. I don't know if I said your name wrong, the last name, excuse me if I did. Gage Crabtree. Cole Lambert. Alex Hawkins. Head coach, Mark Francisco.
All day. Coach of the year. You got to come down. Very well, sir. Great job.
Assistant coaches, Adam Abel. Brandon Owens. Andrew Francisco. And Joe Rasnick.
Sir.
Sir.
Congratulations. You guys come up for a picture? We probably need to get some pictures, huh? Could
Coach,
they go
y'all
on
come on
social
up
media? It
too.
doesn't happen, huh? Come on, council. You better stand up on this one. These guys make us look small.
Yeah.
All right, my son goes there, man, and we looked his brother up. Good guy. Good
You know,
guy.
team, like I said before, we're so very proud. You really are creating a dynasty, and we love the culture you've built, Coach. So thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you. Work hard. Hands up. All right. And equally as exciting, we have a proclamation honoring Abington High School Class 3 tennis doubles state runner-up. And Miss Pillion is going to read that one.
Whereas the town of Abington wishes to honor Dylan McReynolds and Tristan Hicks, the state runner-up in the VHSL Class 3 tennis doubles on June 10th, 2022. Whereas the commitment required for student athletes to be a part of a team includes meeting required grade, attendance, and volunteer requirements, in addition to attending daily practices and scheduled competition events. And now, therefore, by the authority invested in me as councilwoman and on behalf of the mayor and the Abington Town Council and citizens, I hereby commend Dylan McReynolds and Tristan Hicks for their tireless efforts and achievements. The council wishes them success in their future endeavors.
And I feel like a broken record, but you guys are becoming frequent flyers too. Seems like every season we meet here. Where's Coach Sweeney? Is he here? I don't think I see him, but I was gonna make a statement. Coach Sweeney has done a great job, and again, well deserved.
Dylan McReynolds. And Tristan Hicks.
You guys want to come up for a picture? Huh? And get this thing open. Mess with Guys, congratulations. You make us proud. And as I said before, parents, coaches, thank you for your tireless commitment. Without what you've done, none of this would have been possible. So exciting to have you out tonight. I won't keep you. I know you've probably got other places you want to be. But thanks again for coming. And continue to rack up the titles, guys. Come on.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I mean, I need to get a cut. I mean, come on.
They're gone.
That is nice.
It's wild.
You just got the throat.
I gotta go get a cut tomorrow. I'm gonna get first thing in the morning.
There he is. There he is.
What's that? Oh, your coupon books?
They're selling clothes.
That's when was sitting in the front row there, and you had two more to sell, and you harassed me mercilessly.
Right.
What are you? I'm so sorry. Yes, we'll take care of it.
I need the plaque for it.
Brother, I'm so sorry.
Yes, I will get you one.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
I'm
bring it to
sorry.
school in the
Yeah,
morning.
tell him
I'm
I
so sorry.
apologize. Yeah. Thank you,
Sorry
Brian.
about
Appreciate
that.
you. Yeah. Braylon DeBusk. And I apologize, Kim. I should have called that.
No, I'm sorry.
No. All right. And I know everybody's super excited about what's to come next, because it's going to be hard to top those young men and all of their. No, we enjoy this stuff, we do. Well, that brings us to public hearings. Kim, did we have anybody signed up? You said no for public? Okay. First up, we have a public hearing for a proposed special use permit by owner Evans Properties Incorporated to build a single-family dwelling as is required for action within the designated flood hazard area per section 15-9 of the zoning ordinance in the AE Flood Hazard District, tax map ID 013-7-1 at 190 Blacks Fort Lane and South Court Street. It's the Mayanna Show. Come on down.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So the request before you is for a special use permit for the development within a flood hazard district. We've seen some of these in the past, but Debbie Evans, who's the owner, is requesting this approval. She would like to build a home in the AE Flood Hazard District, and it's located at approximately Blacks Fort Lane and South Court Street, so right at that intersection. The house that she's proposing to build is not actually in the floodway. It would be on the corner of that parcel. A little bit of the background, currently the site is vacant, and on July 25th, the Planning Commission approved the proposal as presented with a 5-1 motion in the affirmative. They did put this motion together. The Planning Commission moved to approve the special use permit to allow a single-family residence to be constructed on a parcel that is encumbered by the AE FEMA flood designation. We did have one in opposition. Mr. Wilson stated that FEMA has a 0.00 increase regulation concerning regulatory floodway. And so this study does show that the minimal increase is lower than a foot if there was to be any increase at all. FEMA does leave that decision to the governing body, and so he indicated that he voted against it because as an engineer he couldn't support any additional structures in the floodway. It is proposed to be on piers, so it's not going to be a solid foundation where you could end up with water either going around it or actually taking out a structure. So it's proposed to be on piers. It is an action that is allowed within our code. Our town engineer, Tyler Vhsl, he still does occasional review for us. He reviewed the information. He made a determination that this did require a special use permit, but that he felt that the plan that was provided was quality and would work. So with that, both the Planning Commission as well as the town engineer indicated that they were recommending approval of this. The only condition that we requested is that submittal of all building permits to the Community Development Department to ensure compliance with the VAUSBC for both construction permitting and for required flood proofing. So on the building permit side of things, there's actually some additional standards that really aren't related to what is here tonight in front of you. The applicant is here. Her representative is also here if you have any specific questions about the flood study. It was a very minimal increase. The base flood elevation is at 2039. The flood elevation at this property for the detailed study is at 2038.6. So we're really not talking about a lot, but this is the process in order to construct something. At the Planning Commission level, there was a discussion about if this property should be purchased by the town since it's in the floodway. At that time, there was, just a discussion. I will say that based on, and Councilwoman Quetch can probably speak even more to this since she's on the infrastructure committee, but we don't currently have a plan that's out there that indicates that this property should be purchased. So none of the flood study work that has been completed as of late indicates that this is a property for that. So it was a suggestion. The applicant asked me additionally about it, but we don't have it on the list of properties to purchase. So But they are both here if you'd like to ask additional questions of them.
Cam, would it be best if we discuss it next, or should we go ahead and discuss it during public hearing, or make any difference?
Well, I would just move on if there's not any comments right now.
All right. Council, do we have any questions for the owners or anything?
The only question I have is just out of curiosity is how tall the piers will be. I noticed it's only like a foot of change there, but
Yeah, and actually
you probably don't have that answer.
Let's see. This might be where you would want to get their designer to come up.
We shot grade up to Park Street.
If you want
out to be 2 foot and
if you
flood.
wanna
I'm
just-
Debbie Evans.
Why don't you
Hey,
just go ahead?
yeah,
and
come on up.
It's just easier for the record to speak into the microphone.
Sure.
I shot grade just to see what it would be to become level with Park Street, and it was 2. And I think Matt and I came up with I think we submitted the plans at 2.5 foot, but I would do 3 foot just to be safe.
Fair enough. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. So this is a public hearing. At this time, if anybody would like to come up and speak, I will open the public hearing. Second call, anybody want to come up and speak? Public hearing is closed. We'll move on to the next one. All right. The next public hearing is proposed special use permit, owners David Brown of HFBG Properties LLC and Representative Matt Bundy from Bundy Architecture and Engineering Incorporated for conversion of second floor space into multifamily use, tax map ID 012-1-40 at 155 East Valley Street. Oh, man, Mine's put Gabe up to it. Come on down, man.
So, Gabriel Christofari, Town Planner. So, as was mentioned, the request was done by David Brown of HGBG LLC, and their representative is Matt Bundy, and they've requested approval of a special use permit to convert a portion of the second floor, mostly the southern corner of the building, to multifamily, and it's zoned office and institutional. Some background on it. The structure is currently utilized by a variety of businesses for office space. The Planning Commission did approve it unanimously. There wasn't really any pushback. The only question that was asked by them was if there was any comments from any of the neighboring properties, and we didn't receive any. The only thing we received was a certified mailer receipt saying they received our letter. Other than that, we never received any more communication from them. Overall, it meets all the zoning requirements. For area regulations, for lots served by public water and sewer, the minimum lot area shall be 10,000 square feet plus 2,500 square feet for each additional dwelling unit. Over 2 dwelling units for multifamily dwellings, multiple family dwellings shall only be permitted in areas served by public water and sewer. The parcel accommodates this request. The parcel is roughly 33,000 square feet. Height regulations, buildings may be erected up to 35 feet in height. There is no change to the building footprint that's going to be happening. The only change is there's going to be 2 additional balconies on the south-facing elevation. And other than that, there really isn't much change in the building footprint at all, no increasing it. So. It does fit into the comprehensive plan in 2 aspects. So for a town of complete neighborhoods, Abernath will have a thriving downtown and will be known for more than Main Street. We'll have district neighborhoods with a mix of land uses, so this kind of goes with mixing of uses within one parcel. And also connectivity, walkability, and bikeable small town. Abernath streets will be well connected, well served by public transit, and safe and inviting for pedestrians and bicyclists of all ages. And everyone will have easy access to nature via an extensive trail network connected to the creeper trail, so it's just working more of that walkability and connectivity throughout the neighborhoods. Okay. Other than that, I can stand by for any questions or concerns. If not, the representative is here.
Okay. Council, any questions, concerns? No. I think we're good.
Shocked that I
Mike, come on, man. All right, well, this is a public hearing, so at this time I'll open the public hearing, and if anybody wants to come up and speak, it's first call. I have a second call, and the public hearing is closed. All right, that brings us to resolutions. We have first up, the resolution approving a special use permit to build a single-family dwelling as is required for action within the designated flood hazard area per section 15-9 of the zoning ordinance in the AE Flood Hazard District, tax map ID 013-7-1 at 190 Black Forks Lane. Diana, do you have anything else to add?
I don't have any additional information to provide you, but if there's any questions.
Anybody have a chance to think of something? Not Mike, but everybody else. I'm teasing. All right. If nobody has any questions, then I would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution as it is.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Owens. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Pillion. Council, do we have any discussion left? Hearing none.
And Iona, the resolution incorporates your additional building permit requirements.
Well, let me read it.
Couldn't get out of it that easy, Diana.
No,
I apologize.
I was waiting. It seemed a little too easy. You probably thought so too, right? Let me just double check here. We did not include that specific language. We just said, whereas the planning commission reviewed and made a recommendation of 5-1 in favor of approval to the town council. So, if you wish to add that.
I mean, the
as
building
part
code
of the
requires that
motion,
anyway, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
So,
That's fine.
you could add it, or you could just,
That's it.
okay.
Kim, call the roll, sorry.
Now that they've muddied the waters, any questions, council? All right. If there's no discussion, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb?
Aye. Thank you. All right. And that brings us to our second resolution, approving a special use permit. Owner is David Brown of HFBG Properties, LLC, and Representative Matt Bundy, Bundy Architecture and Engineering Incorporated, for conversion of second floor space into multifamily use. Tax map ID 012-1-40 at 155 East Valley Street. Gabe, do you have anything else to add, or?
Nothing else really to add. If there's any questions,
Okay.
I'm more than happy to answer. If not.
Cameron, we missing something on this one? No? All right. Council, any questions, comments? All right. If not, then I would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution approving this special use permit.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Vice Mayor Quetch. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. If there's no discussion, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb?
I will abstain from this because I am the direct neighbor to that property. Even though I approve and support it, but, yeah. All right. So we've got that done. First readings of ordinances. First up, we have a consideration of amendment to the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget ordinance pursuant to Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, section 58.1-3830 to correct cigarette tax rate at 40 cents per pack. Mr. Trotman, come on down.
Mayor Webb, council members, during the budget process and the adoption of the ordinance, there was a modest increase in the cigarette tax to 45 cents a pack. Since that time, the treasurer's office was notified that that rate was in violation of the state statute that puts a cap on cigarette tax at 2 cents per cigarette. And so with 20 cents on a pack, that limits us to 40 cents. So it is a state statute. The impact on the budget as adopted is minimal. It's about $26,000 decrease in our anticipated cigarette tax. It represents about 0.14% of the total operating budget. So there was no need for an amendment to the budget itself, but we did need to amend the ordinance because of the tax rate.
Okay. All right.
And just to let you know, we did have one merchant that had paid at the higher rate, and the treasurer's office has since refunded that amount, so.
Okay.
it was good that we caught it early.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Council, do we have any questions for him, or? Cam,
I would entertain waiving the second reading.
you want to waive the second reading, council? I think we can do that. I'm getting the nod from the attorney. Okay. That all being said, thank you, Steve. That's pretty simple, cut and dry. If you guys want to entertain waiving that second reading and just going ahead and adopting this, that would be great, and I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Owens to adopt this ordinance and waive the second reading. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Pillion. Any discussion, council? Y'all quiet tonight. Y'all quiet tonight. Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch? Aye. And Mayor Webb.
Aye. All right, so we don't have any second readings of ordinances. We don't have consideration of bids as it's stated. New business. Very excited tonight. First up, we have a presentation regarding Emory and Henry College campus and project updates with President John Wells and Allison Mays, the Senior Advancement Officer for Major Gifts and Planned Giving. Come on down. Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
I already got one, yeah. Got 30 bucks for a week. Oh, thanks.
Which one do you want first, Allison?
Oh, that one, please.
It's not $20, so we should be good.
I couldn't tell that.
It's nice.
It is nice. Very nice.
Good evening, Mayor Webb and members of council, Mr. Bell, Mr. Cochran, and Ms. Kingsley. I'm Allison Mays, I'm Director of Government Relations along with President Wells from Emory and Henry College. We thank you for welcoming us tonight and look forward to sharing our updates with you. Emory and Henry College is making efforts to be a proactive presence in our region. To that end, we're doing a lot more things like this, coming before town councils and board of supervisors, inviting elected officials to campus, just to keep everyone apprised of what we're doing. So you'll be glad to know we're not here to ask for money. We just want to let you know how we're doing and what we are doing. So I'll be the warm-up act for President Wells and share a few statistics with you. As you know, Emory and Henry was founded in 1836, and we're the oldest institution of higher education in Southwest Virginia. We have a 335-acre campus that's located throughout Washington County and some in Smith County as well with the School of Health Sciences. And our central campus is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and Virginia Historic Landmarks Register. We have a total enrollment of approximately, that's now 1,400 students. And we're consistently ranked among the nation's best private liberal arts institutions. We offer more than 25 academic programs that include 90 majors, minors, and tracks of study. Emory Junior College is annually ranked as a college of distinction. We are rated that through Best Colleges by U.S. News and World Report, Virginia Living, and Colleges of Distinction. So every year we're fortunate enough to receive lots of recognition for the work of our faculty. The Valencian Center for Career and Professional Development, I wanted to share this with you because workforce development is incredibly important in our region, and we feel like we're doing a good part to contribute to that. A survey of our class of 2021, 6 months after they graduated, showed that 39% were in grad school and that 55% were employed. So that's 94% of students that are active in education or in the workforce. And here are a few places where our students are doing internships and getting full-time positions. You'll recognize several of those from Abbington, such as Ballad, KVAT, let's see, First Bank and Trust, William King Museum, and the Martha Washington. We recently conducted an economic impact study, and as you can imagine, Emory and Henry plays an important role in the regional economy. We employ 360 full-time and part-time faculty and staff members each year. We spend more than $46 million annually on college operations, and that includes paying our employees, purchasing local goods and services, and also investing in capital projects. Enrolled students and visitors from outside the region contributed an estimated $18 million in local expenditures. So employment-wise, we have 584 that are involved with college operations and 329 with student and visitor spending. Of course, that's direct, indirect, and local jobs. Labor income and value added, you can see there we're a huge contributor through operations and also through student and visitor spending. So in total, we have almost $100 million through college operations, our capital projects, student and visitor spending, and direct, indirect, and ripple effects. Top employers in Washington County, you all know all these names, and we rank 7th in Washington County for number of employees. And so we hope you come visit us. We have lots of projects, including the new School of Business, our multi-sport athletic complex, apartment-style housing, and our Equestrian Center. And I'm happy to answer any questions about any of that, unless you don't have any, and then I'm sure President Wells will be happy to come up and speak.
What's your time frame on the equestrian edition?
President Wells is going to address that in his comments, so yeah. We're raising money right now. So.
That's great. Questions, council? Anything else? Well, as I said earlier, and I'll say this again later, but thank you all for taking an active interest in the community, making the effort to come to a council meeting. It really means a lot to us to have that communication and relationship to be able to build upon. Really.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
We appreciate all that you do and look forward to being better partners with you.
Well, Mayor and Council, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And as Allison says, it's we're not here to ask for money. We're just here to keep you all informed. And our belief is what's good for Emory and Henry is good for Abington and vice versa. And we see Abington as our college town, and we're really honored to be here with you. I want to give you just a little bit of update on the growth in our student population, and then the Equestrian Center, the multi-sport complex, our new housing, and then the School of Business and student success has been pointed out. I'm not an alum of Emory and Henry myself. My father was an alum. He graduated in 1959. And my grandmother was the dorm mother of Hillman Hall back in the 1960s. My sisters and I each took turns breaking my father's heart and not going to Emory and Henry. But I got to Emory and Henry as soon as I could. It just took me a little bit of time. But I can assure you, I've had a blood transfusion. I'm all Emory and Henry now. So, well, let's start with the growth in the student population. You know, really where we are right now is beginning in 2020 with the pandemic. We had a very precipitous drop nationwide in the number of students attending college, and that's happening for a variety of reasons. But we saw in the spring of 2022, 660,000 fewer students across the country attending higher education. When you put that with the decline since the beginning of March of 2020, 9% of the nation's college population has disappeared. So it's a very serious retreat. So the fact that we're gaining in student population is really something that we're very proud of. We lead the Commonwealth in private colleges that are gaining in student population. The only college that's coming anywhere close to the numbers that we're getting in percentage-wise is Sweetbriar. And I'm happy about that because they were certainly down on the map not too long ago, and they're up off the map now, and I'm really happy about that. But part of what that is about is this. You know, higher education, it seems to me, has really been, has really drifted, I think, from what it was really supposed to be. Higher education really needs to be about teaching people how to think. It's not about what to think. And so our goal at Emory and Henry is to teach people how to think and not what to think. The other thing is this: it's not a bad thing to be able to teach students what it means to get a job and to learn character, to learn ethics, and to learn a work ethic. And I think at Emory and Henry, even if we have students that go out and write the magnum opus in any particular academic discipline, if they don't go out as change agents in their communities, and by that what I mean is having a sense of community, having a sense of really being bought in to their neighborhoods and raising families and creating jobs, then we failed, and we don't want to fail. So this is where we are at this point. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, since 2020, the average private college in Virginia has lost 4% of its student population. We've gained 33%. So we're proud of that. Part of that is because of the people of Washington County and the people of Smith County have been so good to our students. And when our students leave from Washington County and Smith County, they're sad because this place has become another hometown to them. And we're really proud of that. You can see that just in the last year, the number of states that students are coming from. Part of our goal is to incentivize things. We want students to come from all over the country, and we'd like for them to stay here. We'd like to get our fair share of people to stay here in this community. I was raised in Knoxville, so Middle Appalachia is my home. My father's family came from Tazewell County, around Bluefield, Pocahontas, and I know what it means to have a community that loses all of its jobs and loses its economic infrastructure. We want to be part of helping to contribute to that infrastructure. So we've got people coming from all around the country here to Southwest Virginia, and they're falling in love with it. They're discovering that this is a wonderful place to raise a family. It's where people are kind and they're committed to their communities, and so we're pleased by that. Part of this, I can tell you, is being driven by several things. One is our School of Business. We're getting a lot more students coming to us because of our School of Business. The second is we've drawn closer, again, back to our Methodist roots. I pastored a dozen Methodist churches over the last 30 years. I'm a strong believer that the life of the mind and the life of the heart go together, and they should go together. And so that has been part of what has driven us closer. And then the other is our transition to Division II athletics. I don't say this too loud, but we're friends now, right? I graduated from Carson Newman. I don't say that loudly, but I did tell the president of Carson Newman the other day, I pray for him, I pray for Carson Newman all the time. But now that we're in the South Atlantic Conference, we're coming for you. So those are things that are helping us. So we're gaining in our new equestrian program as well. We inherited that from Virginia Intermont. We're pleased to have really the DNA, the lifeblood of other institutions running through us. We were the institution of record for Martha Washington, and now for Virginia Intermont. And having their equestrian students really helps. You have a kid that comes to you after having spent their childhood really connected to horses. That's a good thing. You've gained something good. Very quickly, this is what the new Equestrian Center will look like, and I'm happy to share these with you in more detail. But it's going to be right off of the interstate. It'll be a dramatic thing. So as you're heading north, the Equestrian Center will be on the right. And then on the left will be our multi-sport complex, and VDOT is going to allow us to brand the overpass. So it'll say Emory and Henry, and people will know that there's a college right here, right off the interstate. On the multi-sport complex, we're so proud of what Abbington has done. This is bringing people to our region. It's bringing young people. I wanted to talk to all those guys. They all would make great freshmen. But this is part of what is. I may yet run out in the parking lot. But it is what is going to be helpful, and we want to be helpful as well. I mean, if there are times when the overflow is helpful for us, please just let us know. We're happy to lend our facilities as well once we have them built. We're all, as I say, we're all in it together, and we need to be about that. We'll be adding a rugby field, lacrosse field, and we'll ultimately build out, that's what it'll look like from the street, and we'll actually build out the baseball and softball complexes as well. Very quickly, our new housing down Hillman Highway. This is a 96-bed facility that is being built. As many of you know, we've had to buy up houses all over the Emory area, and so we're hoping to put our students back in this good housing. The dorm I was in as a kid, as a college kid, was a cinder block room, right? Apparently that's not anything anybody wants anymore, but I clearly have a dinosaur. But anyway, this is what we're supposed to have. But we'll be building out more buildings as well. The new School of Business is the old Carragher dormitory, and it was built in 1902. It's a beautiful building. It's a Carnegie building, and that's what that's going to look like. That's going to open in January of 23. So we're very pleased by that. There'll be plenty of collaboration space, and we've already had a great program on blockchain course, which has been very helpful. We'll be seeing these new programs coming into view as well. Last thing on the new Student Success Center, we want to make sure that when students come to Emory and Henry, we don't want them leaving with a bunch of debt and not a degree. We are controlling our costs. We haven't raised tuition in 5 years. Our goal is so that students can come here at the same price, basically, that they go to UVA-wise. And so we want our students to be able to come here, but we want them to persist and succeed. So we've built a new Student Success Center that we'll have the grand opening for that on September the 16th. So thank you so much for your time. You're very kind to give such kind attention, and I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Council?
I just have a comment that the reason why I asked about the equestrian program is my dad taught at VI in the 60s, and that's where I learned how to horseback ride at VI.
That's awesome.
So full circle.
We're
pretty cool.
You come see us. We're hoping about 25 to have it up and going.
I'll teach you how to ride.
I would meet my insurance deductible so quick. There's no doubt about it. Well, friends, you come see us, and you pray for Emory and Henry. We'll pray for Abington, and anything that we can do together, we're happy to do it. And God bless you in your work, and thank you so much this evening.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Be in
You
touch.
should have received, if you haven't already, a save the date for our capital program kickoff. So hope you'll be able to join us for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
That's what
again,
we're gonna ask for.
thank you.
Yeah.
There comes the
Yeah.
money, right?
Yeah, parking spot.
Very good. And as we talked before, great things happening in our area. We're very, very proud. Very proud.
Exciting.
That is very exciting. So item number 2 under new business pertaining to Doug's Superwash. I think council, they asked us to table that to next month. Is that okay, council, if we do that? If so, then I think I'd entertain a motion to table that till the next meeting.
Okay, next meeting, yeah.
Anybody want to do such?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Vice Mayor Quetch to table that. And just to clarify, I didn't clarify well enough, but that's the August 18th meeting, correct? Work session? Okay. So motion by Vice Mayor Quetch. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Pillion. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch? Aye. And Mayor Webb?
Aye. That brings us to consideration of professional services to perform engineered designs, construction, and cost analysis for East Main Street flooding mitigation. Mike Surratt Show, come on down.
Mr. Mayor, council members, in June, we put out an RFP to consolidate some professional services for the flood mitigation on East Main Street. We received several responses to the RFP. We turned it over to a selection committee of the staff. They came back with a single recommendation of AMT to continue forward with the flood mitigation. So I guess I come before you just get y'all's blessing on continuing forward with AMT on the flood mitigation survey, construction, and managing that project.
Okay. So, Cam, do we need to vote, or we're just giving a, okay, vote? All right. Council, do we have any specific questions? I know we've talked about the flood mitigation process and engineering that we've been working on for months now, years. And years and years.
Years.
But we're finally getting to a point where we're soliciting more engineering. So, council, if that's something y'all want to proceed with, do you have any questions for Mike?
Yeah,
or-
I know you probably can't answer this, Mike, but I'm always curious about timetables. You know, once this is awarded, did they give you any indication of how long this would take?
Yes, we have a very detailed time schedule. We're hoping to have it completed with the ARPA funds by the end of 2024.
Do you have one of these?
This,
Yeah, it's a very aggressive schedule, but, you know, talking with AMT and kind of doing the preliminary
to come up with
conversations that,
the plan, not the mitigation, correct?
excuse me, sir?
No, that's the full.
That's
Okay.
That's the
construction,
full
that's all the way
construction
through,
build-out,
that's the
yeah.
final invoice is December of '24.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Excellent.
pretty fast. So I'm assuming, and this is a question I've been asked, that we're gonna try our best to shorten the time that roads are closed and whatnot.
Yes, now there will be some, you know, without going into great detail, there will be some, you know, delays, but we're not going to be like closing off roads where businesses won't be accessible. There won't be any through traffic for a period of time to install the new culvert across Main Street. And the same thing will happen for, you know, Tanner Street and those culverts downstream that we're gonna replace.
Yeah, great questions.
The
Council?
preliminary plan is to raise up Main Street, so it'll,
Trying not
you can't close it without, you can't raise it without closing it.
Right.
But I mean, all the businesses along that area, in that area, they will still be accessible. There will be a detour operation around it.
Great, because that's a question I've been asked, but it's a much needed project. I'm excited that we're making this happen.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So Mike, what you need is authorization to negotiate a contract to
Yes.
sign with AMT.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
Motion. Boy, y'all jumped on that one quick. They came to life.
We were in a hurry to get this done.
That's it. So I've got a motion by Vice Mayor Quetch to allow Mike to ensue, I guess, negotiations with AMT. And then I've got a second by Mr. Owens. Any other discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll while that one's hot.
Mr. Owens.
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Ms. Pillion.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
And Mayor Whip.
Aye. Thank you, Mike. But don't go anywhere. Number 4, we've got a consideration of solid waste disposal services. Mike Surratt.
Yes, sir. As you're all well aware, the Bristol landfill will be closing on September the 9th. So we've been working very hard for the past 8 months, Cam, to, you know, manage and get in place an operation for all of our solid waste, brush, junk that we pick up for citizens of our town. We actually worked with the county and got a memorandum of agreement with them to take our solid waste to the transfer station and dispose of it. But one of the items that stuck out that they wouldn't take would be the brush. So we had to go out and find another option to be able to dispose of the brush that we pick up. So we put out an RFQ with a radius of 30 miles, because anything outside of 30 miles was going to be really cost prohibitive on wear and tear, maintenance, fuel for the town. We did get one response back for the quote, and to take brush, it's going to be $40 a ton for us to deliver it to the waste management down in Plum.
Council, what questions do we have for him? What does that compare to our old, or should I ask?
I mean, I feel like it's cost beneficial to the town.
Okay.
And you have no choice.
And we really.
I was trying not to say that, Cam. That's why I was.
I was going to say it, but since if we really, you know, but this quote also includes, you know, if we ever have to have solid waste, or we ever have to have somewhere we have to take junk, it is a full complement of services that we can get.
Okay. All right.
So if this happens, again, we have a plan.
We have a plan.
That's it. That's what I like. So I assume we need to Make a motion and vote? Okay. Council, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this or allow Mike to negotiate if he has to negotiate
Just
any
to
further?
accept the-
Just to
Yeah,
accept
just
it?
accept the
Okay.
quote.
All right, so to accept the quote.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Pillion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion further, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens? Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb.
Aye. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. We don't have any old business tonight that I'm aware of. We do have miscellaneous business and communications from the town manager. This is the moment Mike Cochran has been waiting for. He's on the agenda. He is ready to go.
So I actually have Tanya here. I wasn't sure if she was going to be here this evening, but I got Tanya here to consider a lease. Did you want to explain this, Tanya? She'll do a much more thorough job than I will as far as explaining this one. This is a good opportunity to help somebody in the community and to also help us.
As you all will remember, back in April, we voted to make the depot station, the passenger station, a retail incubator. And in that time period, we have a lease with a gentleman who has a very nice men's shop there. So we have a business on Main Street that is losing their lease. And we do not have buildings that are renovated, totally renovated, for him to be able to move into a new spot. So he was actually going to close down his business and maybe open back up later. So we looked at the incubator, the retail incubator at the depot station, and we think that we can come up with a partnership that would work. So we just wanted to get your all's approval for that. It would be the same terms as we did before, with the year with an option to renew. Anything after 3 would be up to council. There's also a clause in there that gives them an out, so if something becomes available earlier, that they can leave our facility without being penalized.
Council, I think we all probably have talked to Tanya about this and are well aware. Cam, do we need to actually take a formal vote? Okay.
For the authorization to negotiate lease.
Fair enough. Well, Tanya, I think it's a great idea. I appreciate your hard work on this one again. Even though you stole the thunder from Mike, since this was his first agenda item.
We're starting to recognize how he's going to work.
That's it.
You've seen Oz, right?
That's good. That was good. So, council, I would entertain a motion to allow Tanya to negotiate for this lease.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
All right. Motion by Vice Mayor Quetch, second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb.
Aye. That brings us to council member reports. Council, what reports do we have? Oh, I'm sorry. More communication.
Yeah,
There we
actually,
go.
I actually wanted to just just a couple more minor things.
Sure.
In your with your packet, I had Kim distribute. This is a schedule for the for the Coombs Center for swimming and activities at the center. One of the things that we're trying to do is to expand the hours that it's available to the public.
Sure.
And so this will be posted up on the website real soon. This doesn't cost any extra. It just shifts where our personnel are at to allow for greater usage by our citizens, because that's one of the things we're trying to do, is just make it more accessible to them. So this will start September 12th, so it's coming up real soon, but it should hopefully make it more accessible to everybody. And then one other thing that came up earlier this week was we had discussed in the infrastructure meeting was traffic calming. And one of the things that we're going to do, we have the chief has provided a couple speed studies for us on Valley Street, because Valley Street it's got a lot of traffic up and down it. And so we have 2 different speed studies. We'll push these out on the internet. But one of the things that we're going to be doing is engaging an engineer in order to do an actual traffic study for traffic calming on Valley Street, because we have 2 different speed studies over 2 solid week periods. April of 21 and then August of 21, for a total of 79,000 cars, which is a pretty high sample size. The average speed is 28, which is really, it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone. So we've got a really, really high compliance rate. But one of the problems we're having is the perception of speed. And there are a couple speeders peppered in there, but statistically there is an incredibly high compliance rate. But as you know, like with Main Street, how Main Street shifts a couple bits, so you have to really pay attention when you go down it, and it also forces you to slow down. it's one of the things that the traffic calming engineer is going to take a look at. Rather than us just putting something out there to slow people down, we want an engineer to actually take a look at it and provide us with real solutions. And so just for anybody watching at home, they might have an idea that we're going to be paying attention to that. One other thing, Chief Holbrook had contacted me less than a month ago and said, hey, there's an SRO grant available that's coming from the state. And I've never seen a grant be turned around quite so fast, but he put in for an SRO grant, and we were able to get the SRO grant. It'll be a second SRO for the high school, and the grant pays 100% of the cost of the salary and benefits for the SRO, which is pretty amazing. And even though it's a great high school, it's a safe high school, a second SRO is still better than one SRO, because the more we can engage the kids and provide safety for them and also give them a little role model would be awesome for us. So I want to thank the chief for putting up for that. And I mean, he was able to put it together in like 3 or 4 days, so it's pretty amazing. And then also the Virginia Department of Transportation with Mike Surratt, we got an additional $1.12 million for the Good Road Repair Program, and that's going to go to East and West Main Street and Jonesboro Road. That's $1.12 million. It's a good amount of money. So
That's great.
and then the last final up is last month I mentioned Court Street, and the county is working on that. Their contractor who's doing the work, September 17th is their target date to switch the traffic pattern, and they're in the process of obtaining the rest of that material in order to effect that closure. So Surratt's people are watching that as well. But it is going pretty smoothly as far as I can tell so far.
Excellent. Good. Well, thank you for those updates. I appreciate
problem.
it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right, council member reports. Who's got a report tonight? Anybody got a report tonight? Huh? Well, I do want to say that earlier this evening we had a public hearing for public comments on the pump track concept that we've been talking about for some time. And everything that I saw was very good and positive, and the community seems to have a pretty strong interest in this. So for anybody that's watching, there were lots of kids that showed up. Big turnout. It was actually very, very good. So thank you again, Tanya, for facilitating that. And I think, did you get mostly good comments from the?
Yes.
Good. Excellent.
And
Excellent.
some really good suggestions from those guys who
Yeah.
actually use the tracks.
Yeah, we actually had a guy from Johnson City show up for anybody that actually is familiar with these facilities, and he said, I just was interested, wanted to come up and see what you were doing, and he had a lot of pointers, and yeah, it was kind of good turnout, so.
And a contingent of kids who offered their suggestions. which is
Oh, yeah,
pretty
the
cool.
kids are always gonna offer their suggestions, right? We expect that.
I bet my liability concerns will be different than what the kids suggest.
I'm sorry, Cam, did you say something? I didn't. I'm joking. All right. Well, that brings us to appointments to boards and committees. Do we need to go into closed session, council, to discuss this? Okay. All right, well, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, section 2.2-3711A1, for the purpose of considering applications for appointment for positions on the Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator and Sinking Spring Cemetery Committee. Also, go into closed session to pursuant to Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, section 2.2-3711A1, a personal matter involving demotion, discipline, or resignation of a specific employee or employees.
All right, got a motion to go into closed session by Mike Owens. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Quetch. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb?
Aye. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Wow.
Good.
It'd be all right.
There you go, go for school bag.
All right. So first things first, we back, yeah, we're good. First things first, I would like a motion to go back into open session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Vice Mayor Quetch, second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb.
Aye. And then we need to certify.
I move that the town council certify that in closed session just concluded, nothing was discussed except the matters or matters specifically identified in the motion to convene in closed session and lawfully permitted to be discussed under the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act cited in the motion.
Mr. Owens, do you so certify?
I do certify.
Mr. Anderson?
I do certify.
Ms. Pillion?
I so certify.
Ms. Quetch?
I so certify.
And Mayor Webb.
I so certify. That brings us to appointments to boards and committees. First up is the Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator. We have a variety of reappointments, Kent Peterson, Sylvia Robbins, Mike Spiegler, and then I think we have a new addition to the Small Business Incubator. I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'll make that motion that we reappoint Kent Peterson, Sylvia Robbins, Mike Spiegler, and appoint Pamela Stone to the Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator.
All right, got a motion. Do I have a second by Mr. Owens? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb.
Aye. And then, council, do we have
Yes.
the Sinking Springs? Okay, so second up, we've got Sinking Springs Cemetery Committee, appointment to fill the vacancy of a descended from family, relative, or ancestor buried in the cemetery.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Al Bradley to the Sinking Springs Cemetery Committee.
All right, motion to appoint Al Bradley by Mr. Owens. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, Kim, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Owens?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Pillion?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
And Mayor Webb.
Aye. All right, council, did I miss anything? Mike, or Mike? Sorry, I had to do it. Kim, Cam, okay. If not, we're adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
We-